Okay, welcome to the final lesson in week 3 of the 4-week confidence currency intensive. This has been an intense week, right? We have gone through so much information as you have begun to plan and prepare for everything that you're going to need in your personal health plan as we set forward into go time in week 4. So much information, and I know that you've spent so much time all the way from week 1 of looking at your history, week 2 taking full evaluation of where you are, and week 3 making all these plans and preparations. I want you to know that it's all going to be worth it. But the goal that we're going for here as you're getting ready to launch into week 4 is progress, not perfection. Now, that's not to say that you should just go ahead and start even though you haven't really done your coursework or you don't really have a plan and you don't have a meal plan. No. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that it's okay if it doesn't go perfectly. Next week, we're going to be talking about those sort of things. But really, progress is the goal. Again, this is not a quick fix, let's figure out how to hurry up and lose 20 pounds scheme. This is a let's do this the right way. And so you've been spending time this week putting some plans into place, thinking about what matters to you, thinking about how to incorporate this into your life. And it's going to be a process. It's not something that was just going to click 100% overnight, but that's okay because you're committed to the process. Now, here are a few things that I want you to keep in mind as we get ready to move into Go Week next week. The first thing is this. I want you to make sure that up until now, you have completely filled out all of the coursework that you've been given. Again, it's not optional, it's not just busy work, it's there for a reason. Because I want you to go into this next week being familiar with how to ID things like we've talked about. That isolating the behavior, identifying the belief, disowning the fallacy, determining what's true, deciding what's true, that you should be familiar with that. We're going to talk more about it next week, but you need to be familiar with that. You need to have your why list ready, right? You need to have your meal plan ready. You need to have your goals set. So really take time to make sure that that is fleshed out, okay? Now, I know that, maybe some of you are thinking, oh, I don't know that I've done that perfectly enough. Have I really thought through enough? Have I made my meal plan perfect enough? Is all of these things am I really ready for go time? There can be that just anxiety about, am I really ready? Could I be more ready before I launch? And as long as you have taken the time to watch all of these videos, you've taken the time to consider the questions that I've asked, you've taken the time to do your research and to put your plans in place, you're ready to go. Again, you're not going to do this perfectly. There has to be a starting point where you just start to put things into motion. And honestly, you're not going to be able to gain long-term success in this just based off of plans or just based off of preparation or a program. Your success in this area is actually going to come from you implementing these things. And then as you're implementing them, you're going to learn what's working, what's not working, where you need to, pivot, where you need to shift and change. And you can't learn those things that are necessary for long-term success until you actually start to put them into practice. And so that's what we're going to be talking about primarily next week, is I'm going to be giving you the tools and the keys to success that you're going to need once you've actually started putting your personal health plan into practice. So that's what next week is going to be about. But next week, I want you already putting these things into practice. Speaking of putting things into practice, at the beginning of this week, I asked you to identify 1 to 2 goals that were just small, simple, easy things to put into practice. How did those go? If they went well, then put them on your confidence currency ledger, and I want you to look at them and use that as just fuel and as confidence going into week 4. Even if it wasn't perfect, did you do it at all? If you didn't do it at all, then you really need to stop and ID that situation. So what was the behavior? The behavior is what? That you just didn't do it at all. The behavior is that you only did it, one day and then, stop doing it the rest of the days. Okay, what's the next? I identified the belief. What was the belief that you had there that caused you to not follow through? Was it that, again, that you're still just not a disciplined person? Was it that you didn't have enough information or that it wasn't important enough? What was the belief there? And then disowning the fallacy of saying, no, 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 this is all important. I'm going to follow through. It's not true that I'm not a disciplined person, or that I'm always going to take the shortcut, or that I'm never going to follow through. Deciding what's true. Moving forward, I'm glad that I saw that, because I know that it's easy for me to return to old habits, and I'm going to move forward and really hold myself accountable. I've seen how easy it is to not follow through, and I'm not going to go back to those old habits. I'm not going to keep repeating the same old things. I'm going to move forward and decide that I'm going to follow through on the things that I've outlined in my personal health plan. We have so many good things to talk about next week. So I cannot wait to see you moving into those things that you have put plans into and thoughts into. So as you get ready to move into next week, sit down and make sure that you're ready. What do you have coming up next week that you need to be mindful of socially and just on your calendar? How can you prepare in advance for those things? Do you have your grocery list ready? Is your meal plan ready? Do you have your list of your why motivators ready? Do you need to contact anyone? Have you got your plan ready for your fitness? It's gonna be a good week. Again, don't be intimidated by doing it perfectly. That's not what this is about. The next step in your progress and in your process of actually living and doing this thing in a sustainable way is actually getting started. And then I will help you, and I will give you the keys in next week and how to bob and weave through the various things that you're going to find yourself facing on this journey. But it's all good. I'm so proud of you for making it this far. And let's get ready for a great week 4, go week, putting this personal health plan into place. I'll see you then.